Yeah, good morning. In the today's class, you are learning about the advanced SQL. In the advanced SQL, you are learning about the data types. After learning the data types, next we are going for the constraints. Under the advanced SQL, first we are focusing the topic about the SQL data types. If you want to, actually it is a SQL is a not a programming language, it is a software for communicating the database purpose structure query language. If you want to define the schema, for the defining the schema also we needed the data types. For example, if you want to design the schema, under the schema we are having the attributes will be there. Under the particular one schema we can define up to n number of attributes. At the time of you defining the schema, for the specific attribute we are defining the data type. If you want to define the data types, what are the data types will be there under the SQL. Now, some of the data types only we are learning. Now, we are having the under the SQL data types, we are having as a date data type will be there. For the date data type, we are having the format will be there, year, then month and date will be there. It consists of the 4 digits of the year. Coming for the month we are writing in the format of characters, then the date we are writing in the format of numeric we are writing. Now if you want to define the time, if you want to define the time is a data type will be there, the time of the day in hours, minutes and seconds. For example, if you are inserting the record under the database, at what time the record is inserted. Maybe if you have prepared the any application under the backend of the database, if you want to generate the application, if you want to define the time also, we can retrieve with the help of the time data type. We are having as a timestamp will be there. Under the timestamp is a data type. We are having as a date plus time of the date will be there. For example, if you want to take for the timestamp, under the timestamp we are getting as a date and the time we are getting. Now, if you want to find out the interval, period of the interval of the time, if you want to subtract the date and the timestamp value from the other given the interval values, if you want to define your automatically for the particular data type for the particular data type of the attribute, if you want to derive the date, for example, the employee date, if you want to define, if you want to define the employee date or if you want to derive the date, we are having the derived attribute will be there under the SQL data types. If you want to extract the date of the employee, year and the date and the month, we are having as a extract year from starting time. We can string is a data type. Under the string data type we can get the date, time and the timestamp. Now if you want to find out the cascading also, it is possible under the timestamp. Next, if you want to define user defined data types, in the SQL we can define user defined data types also. Now these are the these are the derived data types will be there. These are the derived data types or predefined data types will be there. If you want to define user defined data types, if you want to define your own data types under the SQL, we are going for the user defined data types. If you want to create the data type, we can create with the help of the create command, type, then construct with the help of SQL. Then if you want to define the user defined data type, we are creating with the help of create type dollar as a numeric as a final. Now we are creating the user defined data type, create type, then the type is dollar as a numeric. Then we are giving as a numeric up to 10 digits numeric value we are giving. Now if you want to create the department table, under the department table, if you want to define the user defined data type, see here, create table, department name, department is a table name. Under table we are having the department name is a attribute or column name, then data type is a varchar will be there. Now here under the character data type and the advanced we are having as a char and the varchar2 data type will be there. Under the character we can insert only for up to 20 characters only. Under the varchar2 characters we can insert alphabetics and numbers we can insert under the varchar2. Now coming to the building data type, under the building also attribute we are giving as a varchar. Now see here, if you want, when you are defining the attribute, for the attribute we are specifying the particular data type as a varchar. Means for the department name we are inserting only in the format of the character only. For the building name also the character. Coming to the budget we are giving as a dollars. Dollar is a user defined data type. The user defined data type now we are specifying create type dollar. Dollar is a user defined data type as a numeric 12,2. Now user defined data type we are using under the, at the time of we are creating the data type, we are using this dollar is a data type. Coming to the varchar is a predefined data type. Dollar is a user defined data type. In place of dollar, maybe I am giving as a create type ISL college as a numeric. It is not a meaningful. If you want, when you are defining the data type, you should give the meaningful at the time of you are defining the user defined data type. Now in place of dollar we can give the ISL also, it will work, budget ISL. Now if you want to create domain of the construct in the SQL to create user defined domain data types. Now if you want to create as a domain, the particular domain, if you want to define user defined data type, create domain person name character 20 not null. Not null is a constraint. Under the data types, at the time of you defining the particular attribute, for the particular attribute we are specifying the constraint. Constraint means it is a restrictions or rules or condition. The particular attribute, what is the rule, what is the condition we are defining at the time of we are designing the schema. Now if you want to talk about the types of the domains are similar. The types and domains are similar. Domain can have the constraints such as not null specified on them. Now if you want to talk about the constraints, under the constraints, with the help of the constraints, now we are defining the domain as a degree level as a varchar2, constraint as a degree level check, then we are giving as a doctorate and a master, and the bachelor we are giving for the checking the condition. Now if you are taking the condition for this restriction for the constraint, now if you want to go for the domain constraint, actually domain constraints are the most elementary for the integrity constraints. The test values inserted in the database and the test queries to ensure that the comparison makes sense. The new domains can be created from the existing data type. Now if you want to define the domain we can define with the help of the existing data types also we can define. At the time of we are defining the data type, after defining the data type, then we can declare the constraint also. The specific constraint for the particular attribute, we can define the condition with the help of the constraint. Now if you want to take the example, if you want to create the domain for the dollar is a data type. For the dollar data type, we are creating the domain with the help of the domain as a pounds numeric 12,2 up to 10 digits we are giving. We cannot assign or compare the value, the type of the dollar to the value of the type compounds here. Very, very important. After defining, when you are defining the user defined data type, again for the user defined data type, we cannot assign the comparison values of the type of the dollars to the pounds. Now, however, when you are converting the type, we are using as a cascading or comma a, or we can call as a, actually we are having as a conversions will be there, implicit conversion and explicit conversions will be there in the SQL also. In programming language, what you learn under the OOPS using Java, we are implicit and explicit. Same scenarios will be there under the SQL also. One more, large object data type. Why we are using this large object data type means, at the time of under the database, if you want to insert the photo, your photo or your image, if you want to store under the database, at the time we needed the large object data types. Large object data types, with the help of this data type, we can insert images or photos, we can insert videos and audios, we can insert CAD files, etc. If you want to store the large amount of objects at the time, we can use as a large object data type under the SQL. Now if we are under the LOB, we are having as a BLOB, binary large object will be there. Means if you want to store in the format of the binary zeros and ones, at the time we can take as a BLOB, binary large object. Object is a very large collections of uninterrupted binary data. It is stored in the format of zeros, ones. whose interpretation is left on the application outside of the database system. Glob will be there. Under the LOB, it is categorized as two types will be there. Blob will be there. Glob will be there. Character large object. If you want to store in the format of the character, at the time we are going for the glob. Glob is a large collection of the character data. When the query returns the large objects as a pointers, it returns rather than the large object itself. Means under the SQL data types, we are having as a number data type, date data type, time data type, blob, and blob will be there, glob will. These will come under the large object data types. Now, if you want to go for the creation, for the index creation, if you want to go for the index creation, the main purpose of the indexing means for accessing the very fast for the files from the database. Now, if you want to create the index creation, the table on the table we can create the index. Now, if you want to create the index, create table student name. Under the student table, we are having as the ID is the attribute. For the ID attribute, we are specifying as a character data type, varchar data type. Up to only the 5 characters, we can insert the value under the ID. Coming to the name is the attribute or the column, and the name attribute also varchar up to 20 characters we can insert. Now coming to, we are specifying for the name as a not null. Not null means here we cannot insert the null values, we can insert the duplicate values at the time of we are defining the constraint for the specific attribute. After defining the attribute, at the time of you are defining the attribute, when we are specifying the data type, then we are assigning as a constraint. Now we are assigning as a constraint as a not null constraint. Not null constraint means we cannot insert the null values for the specific attribute. Now we can insert the duplicate values for the not null. The not null constraints can be declared at the column level, not for the table level. Not null constraints can be defined at the column level. Table level means at the end of the column level, if you are defining the constraint, that we can call as a table level. When you are defining at the column level, the not null constraint will be work at the column level only. It will not work under the table level. Actually, the constraints can be defined in two ways. The constraints can be defined in two ways. The constraints can be defined with the help of column level constraints or table level constraints. Table level constraints means at the end of the column, when you are defining the table or schema, at the end of the column when we are defining the constraints, then we can call as a table level constraints. Under the table level constraints, not null constraint will not work. Not null constraint will work at the column level only. Now, under the student table or the student schema, we are having as an attribute and the name and the department name and the total credits and total credits. These are the attributes will be available under the student table. Now here we are defining the constraint for the name attribute. For the name attribute, we are defining the constraint as a not null constraint. Coming to the department name, we are not defining any constraint. Coming to the total credits, here we are using as a default constraint. Default we are assigning as a 0. If you have total credits, if you are not assigning any value, default it will take as a 0 for that credits. Means if the student is absent for that exam, for the default it is giving as a 0 credits. At the time we can use as a default constraint. Now coming to here the primary key. Primary key constraint is declared at the table level. At the end of the table, now actually ID is the attribute. The ID attribute here we are not defined. At the end of the column, we are defining as a primary key, primary key constraint ID. ID is a primary key. And when you are defining as a primary key constraint, for that ID, we cannot insert the null values, we cannot insert the duplicate values. It follows the not null constraint and the unique constraint under the primary key. Primary key can be declared at the table level, and the column level constraint also we can declare. Coming to the unique constraint, we can declare at the table level and the column level. Coming to the not null constraint only, we can declare at the column level. We cannot declare at the table level. Now, if you want to create the index for the student table, now we are creating with the help of create index students ID index on the student ID. Now see here. Now we are creating the index on the existing table. The table is existing. On the table only we can create the index. Create index, then index name. See here the index name student ID index on existing table. Student table is existing. On the student table it is existing. Indices are the data structures used to speed up the access to the records with the specific value for the index attribute. Now, if you want to fast access at the speed of the access from the records at the time, if you want to perform the very fast, at the time we can use as the indices. Now we are performing under the ID. It is if for the retrieving the very speed purpose we are using as an index. Now if you are using for select star from the student where ID equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means it is retrieving only for the particular ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ID range we are giving up to only for the 5. Then we can execute it by using the index to find out the required without looking at all the required of the student table. Now with the help of the where class we are filtering the record. With the help of the particular record only we are filtering the data only we are getting the back. Now if you want to create the extension of the table, application often requires the creating of the table that have the same schema of existing table. SQL provides to create the table like extension to support this task. Now if you want to create the temporary restriction under the instructor table, now we can create with the help of create table temporary restriction that has the same schema of the instruction. Now if you are understanding purpose, if you want to create for the temporary, then we are creating with the help of the example create table. T1 is a table as select star from the instructor where department name is a music. Now with the help of the select statement, just we are retrieving only from the music department. That music department data we are retrieving, we are assigning to the T1 table. This is a major role for the if you want to existing table, if you want to create the specific table, then we can use in this way. By default, the name and the data type of the columns are the in reference of the query results. Explicitly, we can give it a column by listing the column name after the relation name. Now next we are going for under the advanced SQL we learn about the data types. The next we are going for the schemas. What are the schemas and the catalogs will be available under the advanced SQL. Schema means for designing. At the time of your designing the file, the system is a very flat. For all files were stored under the single directory. The current file system, of course, have the directory structure that files stored with the subdirectories. To name as a file uniquely, we must specify the full path of the file. Now, if you want to now when you are giving the link for the file, we are giving with the help of the directory, folder, subdirectory, then we are giving the extension file. Now, like every file system, database system also have the single namespace for the relational. Users has to coordinate to make users did not to try to use the same name of the different relational. Database systems provide the three level of hierarchy. Already you learned about the view level, logical level. First the topmost layer is a view layer, then physical layer and the logical layer. Under the data abstraction you learn about the three layers of the data abstraction. We are having as a physical layer, logical layer and the view level. The topmost level is the view level. The middle we are calling as a logical. The first stage we are calling as a physical. Physical stage will be there. The first stage we are calling as a physical. Then coming to the second stage we are calling as a logical. The topmost we are calling as a view level. In order to perform any action of the database, user must first connect to the database. Users must to provide the username and usually password to verify the identify the user. By default, catalog and schemas combination of the unique to be the user. To connect the database, the default catalogs and the schemas are set up in the connections. This corresponding to the current directories are belonging to the user, the home directory when the user logs into operating system. Now here the one more today's important class, very interesting topic, integrity constraints. Integrity constraints is a very important for your semester exam and your major project or mini project or the major project at the time of your designing the database. It is a very important. One more, without understanding the integrity constraints, we cannot understand about the normalization. After integrity constraints, the next we are going for the normalization. The normalization, the third unit. The third unit you start in the today's class only. Now, if you are familiar with the good under the integrity constraints, normalization scenarios easily we can understand. Under the normalization, we are using as a constraints only. Integrity constraints means is a guard against the accidental damage to the database. By ensuring that authorized changes to be the database do not to result the loss of the data consistency. Means data inconsistency means if you want to store the good quality of the data under the database, then we can go for the constraints. Means if you're not storing the inconsistency data means if you're not storing the quality of data under the database, we can call as a data inconsistency. If you want to store the data consistency, then we should use the constraints. The main purpose of the constraints for damage to the database against the accidental damage to the database means if you want to store the quality of information in the database, then we can use for the constraints. The main purpose of the constraints, it is the restrictions or the rules and regulations for the business or the condition should be executed at the time of we are storing the data under the database. For example, if you want to the checking the amount must if the balance is greater than the 10,000. Now, in the banking sectors, maybe in the metropolitan cities where the minimum balance should be for the SBI now 5,000, now they are given the condition as 2,000. If you are going for the urban areas, maybe they given for the minimum balance should be the around maybe the 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees will be there. That condition should be execute. Means from your account, if you are having as a less amount, then if the condition should be the raised. Now here the checking the amount must be the balance is greater than the 10,000. Means in my account the minimum balance should be the 10,000. Always it will check the condition. For the salaries of the bank employees must be at least $4 an hour. The customer must have the non-null phone number. Now see here, salaries at the bank employees must be at least $4 per an hour. Means for the banking employees when they are working under the banking sectors, if they are working for the 1 hour means the salary should be the $4. If they are working for the 10 hours means $40. Based on that hours they are calculating the salary. Here they are given as a condition. The first condition is checking the amount, balance should be greater than the 10,000. Under the salary for the banking employees for hourly they are giving as a $4. If they are working as a for monthly, if they are working as a 100 hours means 100 into $4, $400. Now customer must have the phone number, not null. Every customer must have the phone number. These are the 3 restrictions or rules and regulations for your constraints. Now under the constraints we are having as a single relation. For the single relation we are having as a not null constraint. Not null constraint. Under the single relation the constraint not null constraint will be there, primary key constraint will be there, unique constraint will be there, check constraint will be there. P means it is a predicate, check constraint. Now if you want to talk about the not null constraint can be defined at the column level only, not for the table level. When you are declaring for the not null constraint, for example, if you want to take the name and the budget to be not null, means not null means compulsory the name should be there. The employee name or the student name should be the compulsory name will be there. Not null means it is not a null value. The student name it may be the repeated will be there. For the budget also, under the budget also, similar value will be there, not null value should be not there. Coming to the name also not null. Under the budget, numeric value 12, 2 not null. See here. Again for the name also not null. Student name will be there. Null value will not inserted. For the budget also, the condition they are given up to 10 digits. Up to they given the 10 digits, we should not insert the null values. Now if you want to declare the domain of the dollars to be not null. Now actually we define as a dollar. For the dollar we are defining as a not null. Now if you want to create the domain for the dollar numeric 10, we are giving the condition 12, 2 up to 10 digits. We are giving as 2 digits for the decimal for not null. Coming to the unique constraint. Unique constraints can be declared at the column level and table level. Unique constraint can be declared at the column level and table level. Unique constraints we are defining with the help of A1 attribute, A2 attribute up to AN attributes. We can define n number of attributes on the single table. Unique specification states that the attributes A1 and A1 for the candidate key. Compulsory when you are defining as a unique constraint, the unique specified the states that the attribute A1 and A2 up to AM for the candidate keys. Unique constraints when you are defining for the attribute, that attribute must be the candidate key. Candidate keys are permitted to be null in the constraints to the primary key. Candidate keys are permitted to be the null. Means it should be, we should not insert the null values under the unique constraint. We could not insert duplicate values under unique constraint. Now if you want to take the primary key, the both unique and the not null we are considering as a primary key. Now for the department name we are defining as a primary key. Department name is an attribute data type, then we are defining as a constraint is a primary key or primary key or department name. We can assign the primary key in this way. This we are calling as a column level. Primary key can be declared at the column level and the table level. Now if you want to go for the check class, now it is checking the predicates for your, now here it falls on the winter, spring or summer. Create table, section is a table name, course ID, section ID, semester, year, then building, room number, time slot ID, then the primary key. Then the primary key we are defining as a course ID, section ID, semester and the year we are giving as a primary key. This we can call as a column level constraint. This is table level constraint. At the time of you are defining the column, for the column we are not specifying any primary key. Now for the course ID, section ID, semester and the year, we can specify for these 4 columns. After the defining the column, if you are defining the constraint, then we can call as a column level constraint. At the end of the table, for the end of the table we are declaring as a primary, then we can call as a table level constraint. In a single table we can declare more than one column name as a primary key. It is not a rule. It is not a rule. At the time of your designing the table, for the particular column under the table only the one column can be defined, only the one primary key. It is not a rule. Under the table, under the any table, we can define n number of constraints for the primary key. Coming to the check constraint, for the check constraint we are giving as a semester. Semester also we are given as a primary key. After giving the primary key, again we are giving as a condition as a check constraint. For the check constraint we are giving as a check in operator, semester in falls, winter, spring or summer. The semester may be in winter or summer or maybe the spring or maybe the falls. Means 4 condition is executing. Any one will be there. The check condition. Now check class is under SQL 92 permits domain to be restricted. Check class to ensure that an hourly wages domain allows only the values greater than the specified values. If you want to create the domain hourly wages for the numeric values 5, 2, constraints value tested, if we are testing with the help of dollars for greater than the 4, hourly for the 4 hours daily. domain as a constraint that ensures that the hourly wages is greater than the 4C. What is the condition they given? The check class is a constraint value, tested is the optional uses and the indicate that constraint is updated is violation. Now we are having as a default value constraint will be there. Default value constraint, when we are using this constraint means, for example, if the student is not written the exam, by default we should get the absent. At the time we are using as a default constraint. The default constraints we are using at column level or table level. For the student table, we are using as ID is an attribute, name is attribute, department name, total credits will be there. For the total credits, we are giving as a default, we are giving as a 0 value. The default value of the total credits attribute is declared to be 0 as a results. The tuple is inserted in the student relation. If the more value is provided for the total credits attributes, its value is set to be 0. Means if you are not inserting the any value for the total credits, by default it is taking the value as a 0. Now we are giving as a insert command, insert into the 12 student table, ID, name, department, then values we are inserting. Now here we are not using as a total credit, just we are taking ID, name, department name. ID, name, department name. Now the one more important constraint is referential constraint. Referential integrity constraints. Mean this referential integrity constraints, when we are using this referential integrity constraints means it is one table is referring to the another table. If you are having as a binary relationship mapping, at the time compulsory we needed the referential integrity constraint. For example, if you are taking about the department table is a parent table. Under the department table, we are having as a department number, department name and location will be there. This is a department table is a parent table. Under the department number, it is acting as a primary key. Department number attribute, it is acting as a primary key. Now, if you are taking as a child table is a employee table. Under the employee table, we are having as a employee number, employee name, designation, date of birth, then department number. This department number attribute is already just existing under the parent table. Again it is existing under the child table. Means from parent to the child table relationship is there. If you want to give the binary relationship, if you want to map the two tables, we can map with the help of referential integrity constraints. Means always under the parent table, under the parent table, primary key is existing. Coming to the child table, it is acting as a foreign key. It is acting as a foreign key. Under the primary key, what are the values will be there? Unique values. Under the foreign key, those values will be available or duplicate values of the primary key will be available under the foreign key. Then primary key class is the list of attributes that compare with the help of primary key. Unique key class is the list of attributes that compares the candidate keys. Primary class is the list of the attributes that compares only the primary key. Unique key classes list of attributes that comprise at the candidate key. The foreign key classes is the list of attributes that comprise the foreign key, that the name of the relation is referenced by the foreign key. By default, foreign key reference of the primary key attributes of referenced table. What I said, same scenario will be there. Now here we are having as a tables will be there. Actually I took as a 4 tables. Under the 4 tables, how we are using the constraints. Now we can learn the practical scenarios here. Create table classroom. Classroom is a table. Under the classroom table, building is an attribute, room number is an attribute, capacity is an attribute. These are the 3 attributes will be there. Now coming to the building attribute, data type is a character, then room also character, for capacity is a numeric value will be there. Now coming to the primary key, it is defining as a building and the room number for the primary key. Now coming to the department table, under the department table we are having as a department name, then department name and the building and the budget and the check building and the budget. Three constraints. 3 here we are using only for the 3 attributes will be there, 3 columns will be there. Now we are using as a check constraint. How we are using the check constraints here? The check constraints we are defining at the table level. Check constraint is the budget is greater than the 0. Primary key, again here, the primary key is the department name. Now here the primary key also we are defining at the table level. Here also table level will be not for the column level. For the codes also we are having as a codes ID, title, department name and the credits, and the credits only 3 will be there. Coming to the check constraint, we are using at the table level, credits is greater than 0, primary key, codes ID. Then here we are using as a foreign key is a department name. Under the department table, department name is acting as a primary key. The primary key is department name. Now this department table is acting as a parent table. Coming to the course table is acting as a child table. We are using as a reference to the department table. Foreign key, the foreign key of the department name, then reference to the department table. Department table we are giving. Then if you are taking about the instructor, for the instructor also same thing we are use. Under the instructor table also we are using as a department name attribute will be there. For the department name attribute is available from the department table of the parent table. Now we are having as a check class, we can define the n number of check classes. Under the one single check class we can define n number of condition. Time slot, then see a check slot time means we are giving as a complex will be there, time slot ID from the time slot. Select the time slot ID from this time slot. Time slot ID in select, we are selecting from the time slot ID from the time slot table. Then we can call as a complex. Now we can use, unfortunately subqueries under the check classes is not supported by the pretty much for the database. If you are using as a check classes under the subqueries, query inside another query we are calling as a subquery. Under the subquery we cannot use the check classes. And the alternate for the triggers for the creating for the assertion we are using. Assertion is a similar to, it is a condition. That condition should be satisfied at the time of executing the database under the table of the database. Assertion under the SQL take in the form of create assertion, assertion name, check predicts. When assertion is made, the system tests in the validity and the test it again on the every update of the violation of the assertion. Testing may be introduced for the assertion means it is a condition. That condition should be satisfied. After satisfying only that value will be inserted under the database. The main purpose of the assertion means it is a predicate or condition. That condition should be satisfied. When the value is existing, then the data will be stored under the database. Now if you want to create the assertion, we are having as a syntax create assertion, then credits, earnings the constraint, check not exists and selected ID from the student. Where the total credits is all for the select some value, we aggregate function from the text from the natural join courses, then we are giving is a condition we are giving. We are giving as a condition, that condition should be satisfied, then only it will execute. That value will be stored under the database. Thank you. In the today's class you learn about the constraints. Constraints is very important. Under the constraints, primary key constraints, not null constraint, unique constraint, referential integrity constraints, default constraint, check constraints. These 6 constraints are very important. Then in the lab also will be there the constraints, how we are using the constraints, how we are defining the constraints at the time of we are designing the schema, database schema. We will learn the practical, this is the theory part. Then the coming classes you are learning about the advanced SQL. Thank you.